Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Sold Sign Real Estate Unplugged. We are your host and favorite realtors, Naya
and Lauren.
And we're so excited to have you back for another week. Let's get right into this week's story.
All right. So my husband and I decided that it was time to sell our house and move into something bigger. We had outgrown our current place. It was perfect when we first bought it, but with 2 kids and a dog, it felt like we were constantly tripping over each other. We wanted more space, a bigger yard, and just a fresh start. At first, I was really excited. I thought, how hard could it be? We'll sell this house, buy a new one, and everything will fall into place. But I quickly learned that selling a house and buying a new one at the same time is like a giant juggling act. Things didn't go as smoothly as I had hoped. We put our house on the market, and thankfully, it sold faster than we expected. The offers came in, and we were thrilled. But then it hit me. We hadn't found a new house yet. Suddenly, the excitement turned into stress. Where were we going to go if we didn't find a new home in time? The buyers wanted to close within 30 days, and we were scrambling to find something. I remember looking at house after house. We'd walk into a place, and I'd try to imagine our family there, but nothing felt right. Either the layout was wrong, or the price was too high, or the location wasn't ideal. It felt like we were running out of time and the pressure was building. Then we finally found a house that checked most of our boxes. It wasn't perfect, but it had the space we needed and the location was great for the kids' school. We made an offer and thankfully it was accepted. But now we had to figure out how to time everything perfectly, selling one house and buying another on the same day. I didn't realize how complicated that part would be. There was a lot of back and forth between our realtor, the buyers of our old house, and the sellers of our new one. The closing dates had to line up just right, and any small delay could have thrown everything off. I was constantly on the phone, signing paperwork, and trying to keep track of all moving pieces. It was exhausting. On the day of closing, it felt like we were holding our breath the entire time. We sold our house in the morning and then went straight to closing for our new house in the afternoon. Everything happened within hours, and I remember sitting there just hoping nothing would go wrong. When we finally signed the last paper for the new house, I felt like I could breathe again. We moved in the next day, and looking back, it was all worth the stress. The kids love the new house, the dog has a place to run around, and it really feels like a fresh start for us. But I'll never forget how chaotic it felt trying to sell one home and buy another at the same time. Definitely not for the faint at heart. My advice to anyone thinking about doing this, be prepared. Things might not go exactly as planned, but if you have a good team, especially a great realtor, and you're willing to be flexible, it can all work out in the end. Just remember to take a deep breath and trust the process. Oh my God, I love her. Oh, this was so nice.
That was good advice.
This was great advice. Girl, and I get it.
Real story.
Very real.
Yeah.
Because this happens all the time. We're always helping clients sell and buy at the exact same time. And they have these exact words.
Same feeling. Yeah. I felt like we were just talking to somebody that we already know because, yeah.
They have the exact same mindset, which is fair. Like, rightfully so. You should definitely have this mindset because what you don't know, especially if you're not in this industry. It's like, you trying to trust somebody, with your car, maybe like, I want to return it. It's not that easy, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna go to the car dealership. Some people may think that it's as easy as like trading in a car. You go to the dealership, you trade in a car, and then you buy a new one. They give you another one. It's not that easy. You actually have to go through the entire process because no one sells your house. You may need, you want to talk about this? Like how someone may need the money to purchase.
It's like a huge domino effect all the time. Like literally every time we're doing this, it's like dominoes are just falling in my head.
Mm-hmm. And hoping that they all fall into place. Oh my God.
So yeah, it's a lot of times when people are selling their home, they need the proceeds of the home that they're selling to purchase the home that they're buying. Mm-hmm. And so there's like multiple parties involved. So they are at the same time a seller and they're also a buyer. Mm-hmm. And then, they're dealing with the buyer or the seller of, their old home, new home. So like that's at least 4 parties right there. But then those people are also going to the next thing. So it's just all, everybody's connected. And as this person shared, like the closing dates have to line up. Mm-hmm. Everything has to be timed correctly because you need those proceeds to go to your next home, like is the case here. So if something goes off or is delayed by a day and you don't have the proceeds for the home that you're buying, now you got to deal with the sellers of the home that you're buying and hope that that delay is not causing a delay for them, or that they can be flexible. It is a lot. But we say this not to discourage you or not to scare you, but to just validate
yes
that it is a lot. But we are very good about making sure that there is a clear timeline, that you are like as prepared as possible. So like things are pretty smooth rolling from preparation to being on the market as the, seller, and to being on the market as a buyer.
Yeah.
Because there's like preparation for each role, and you're like in two roles at the same time. So we, I think, do a really great job of making sure that there is a clear timeline of events, dates, times, all the things, so that while there's a lot of commotion happening at the same time, you can feel at ease, like, and have a reference of like what is happening when and why. And
yeah. No, I feel like that's fair, because we have a very clear line of communication with you. We will let you know. If it's not daily, then it's definitely, every 2 to 3 days, especially if you are our seller. Like, we are letting you know, okay, hey, listen, we are not getting the offers we were expected in, or, we did, or, certain things that we just can and cannot control. So the things that we can control, we make sure we do, and we take really good care of doing so. But for the things we can't control, like, we don't know what a buyer may be willing to pay for a house. So even though, we're going to tell you, we think your house should be priced at this point to make sure that you actually do sell in a quick amount of time, right? We want to make sure that you do sell. But if you are willing, or you want to sell your home for a higher price, let's just say you want to sell it for $400,000, but we know we're in the market. We know that we are on a timeline. We want to sell it strategically at $375, let's say $385. We want to sell it strategically to get as many people in the door as possible. Let us do that so that we can get you. Because you want 400, we'll most likely get you to 400, but only if we price it at 385 to get as many people in the door as possible, so that they can look at it and we let them fight over it. Because we don't know that if we price it at 400, that somebody's going to want to do it. And now we're sitting here like sitting ducks, waiting for people to come in to actually buy your house so that you can go and afford to purchase your next house. And you have the sellers of this house that you're trying to buy waiting for you. So that is a big one. And then when you are selling and buying at the same time, when you are a buyer, when you're on the buying side at this point, right? You're still selling your house, but right now you're buying. Let's say you're putting in an offer on a house because you still got to buy something. You're going to go in contingent. And contingent means that if you need to go contingent, most people do, but again, every scenario is different. Contingent means that, like Naya said, you have to sell your house first, or it has to be at least under contract in order for you to purchase this new house. So what may happen, and may be an issue, is that the seller of the house that you are trying to purchase contingent, they may have multiple offers on that house, and they may say, we can't wait for you to sell your house or your house to go under contract. We see it's on the market, but we can't wait for you to sell it when we have all these other offers in and these people can buy right away. That's why sometimes it can take a little longer, and it really has to line up, because not only do you have to accept an offer on your house, but the sellers of the house that you're trying to put an offer in on have to also accept your contingent offer, which in a crazy market, most sellers are not doing. Because let me ask you this. You're also the seller. Would you accept a contingent offer on your home that you're selling, knowing that you are trying to buy another house? Will you accept the contingent offer? Probably not. Because if it's contingent, now you have to wait for your new buyer to actually get the money to come up to buy the house that you're selling. So you got to wait for them. Let's say it takes 30 days. You got to wait for them. And then you got to go over here to the seller of the house that you're buying and say, hey, now that my house is sold, now I can buy your house. That's like 60 days that have passed, when this seller could have easily just sold their house in 30 days. So is a lot that goes into it, and it is, again, very much a domino effect, and it has to all line up. But we're really good at that. Like, we're good at telling you the truth, good at keeping it honest and keeping you abreast on the situation every step of the way so that you understand where we are. And if we need to adjust, we also tell you up front, like, hey, we're good. If you want to price it at this, okay, fine. But if for whatever reason it doesn't sell or we're not getting the feedback that we're expecting, then we are going to shift this way. And we want to make sure you're okay with that.
Yeah.
And as long as you're in agreement, then we do what we have to do on our end to make sure that everything does line up perfectly.
And I would just say, it's important to have obviously communication and like trust with your realtor, and let them take the most of that stress, off of you. So again, as far as like the timeline and figuring everything out, they will be leading and guiding you in that process. So, while you're going to have the internal stress of like hoping that it all pans out and like trying to figure out where you're going to be next, a lot of that stress should be taken off of you and handled by your realtor to guide you, through all the next steps and your options and how the scenarios can play out so that you're not just out there, I don't know, like a deer in headlights.
Right. And one thing that I don't think we have talked about when it comes to selling and buying at the same time that I don't think we really use are bridge loans. And I just wanted to run a definition really quick of what it is. So a bridge loan is a short-term financing. It's a short-term financing option that allows you to tap into the equity of your current home to use toward the purchase of your new home. So pretty much what that means is, like, remember we were talking about being contingent, meaning you would have to sell your house first before you actually purchase another one. A bridge loan helps you kind of alleviate that, where you can grab the equity if you have enough, take the equity out of your home, just short-term financing, just so that you can go and purchase a new home. And then you can decide, I'm sure you'll sell, but at least for the bridge loan, you'll be able to tap into that equity to give you enough cash to go and put a down payment down on the new house so that you can purchase at the same time. And sometimes some people don't know about bridge loans. So again, that's what we're here to talk to you about.
Yes. Okay. I hope y'all wrote that nugget down.
Yeah.
That's a great option if you need to use it.
Yes.
But yeah, so, there's going to be a timeline. You might be feeling the pressure again of like figuring out where you're going to be next and making a decision. But it's possible, it's doable. We do it all the time. And like you and your family are not the only family that is buying and selling at the same time. So like trust that it will align, and although your offer will need to likely be contingent, like somebody will understand and still be able to accept your offer in the time,
that it needs to be,
that it needs to
happen. Yeah. So don't be, I don't want to say don't be scared, because it is a scary process. It's a lot to think about. You're trying to move and pack, and you don't know where you're going. Your house may sell faster, and you're trying to figure out, man, where would we go? Do we need short-term housing? Or it's a lot, like Naya said, a lot of moving parts, but we do it a lot. So you can trust us. I promise. I don't want to say it works out every single time, but we have a pretty good track record. I'm not even gonna lie. So I think this was good. I was very happy that she wrote this in, because honestly, we're dealing with that right now. So this was a perfect timing.
Yes.
For this.
So if you're buying and selling at the same time, know that you have options, and it can happen. But that is a wrap for this episode. Thank you all for joining us for another week, another episode, and we will see you next week.